Hello and welcome to T-Rex Math. At this point in time, you have just completed the Investigation 3 checkup, and we have been discussing the relationship between scale factor and side lengths and how scale factor affects area as well as perimeter. Okay, so in Notability, you should have a document that looks like the one that you see on the screen that says Stretching and Shrinking Understanding Similarity. We're going to go through our learning targets now that you've taken the third checkup. Please also have your checkup nearby so you know which problems we're referring to. In problem number 1, it asked which rectangles were similar and to explain why. So this question number 1 goes along with the learning target that says identify similar figures by comparing corresponding sides and angles. So you needed to be able to see the relationship between two similar figures by their scale factor and which sides correspond. So if in number 1 you felt like you needed to get extra help on this during the checkup, you would check off the first box. If you've been working on it and you're starting to understand it better, you check off the middle. And then finally, if you feel like you've mastered it, you had no mistakes, you had no questions, and you can help teach others, you would check off the last section. Question number 2A goes along with the learning target where you need to be able to use a scale factor in order to describe the relationship between the side lengths. And so in part 2A, because you had to find the missing side lengths for AC and AB and also angle E's measurement, you needed to be able to understand really how to use the scale factor. So go ahead and rate in one of those 3 areas how you did on number 2A. Number 2B and 2C go along with the learning target of recognizing the role multiplication plays in similarity relationships. And with 2B and also with 2C, you were figuring out what the scale factor was from the smaller triangle to the larger triangle, and then from the larger triangle to the smaller triangle. So really think about, how did you feel when you were working through those problems? Did you need extra help? Have you been working on it and you're starting to understand it? Or could you check off the last column of mastering this learning target and can help teach others? In question number 2, part D, you had to figure out how many times greater the perimeter of triangle ABC was compared to triangle DEF. So in that one, you're really using the learning target of figuring out the relationship between scale factor and perimeters. So go ahead and rate which of these 3 columns you feel you're at with that. And then 2E, how many times greater is the area of triangle ABC than that of triangle DEF? That would correspond with thinking about, okay, how well do you feel like you understand what the scale factor is and how to relate that back to the area? So that 2E would also go along with this second learning target down. Number 3, A and B, you had to figure out how to draw and label the rectangle according to the scale factor that was given. So in those questions, 3A and 3B, you're using informal methods like scale factors to figure out how to draw a similar figure. So this would be 3A and 3B. So when you look at those problems, where do you feel you are at this point in your learning? And then finally, for number 3, part C, you're looking at the relationship between scale factor again and how it affects perimeter and area of similar figures. So 3C again goes back to the second learning target. And 3D, how does the scale factor change the area and side lengths? Again, would go to this second learning target. So rate yourself in which of those 3 columns you feel your learning is at this time. Okay, so as you're thinking about your learning, you want to first make sure you have all your corrections done to your checkup. And then you really want to reflect on your learning and think about where it is you need extra help, or where do you need enrichment to make sure that you are being challenged. This would be a good time also to think about how you might want to utilize COLT time, if there's any concepts in which you're struggling quite a bit. And is there any tutorials on my YouTube channel that you need to revisit to help with your learning? So think about this for your learning at this time and see where you can improve, and also take part in some enrichment opportunities.